This is the Dental Up Podcast, brought to you by Keating Dental Arts, a full-service, award-winning dental laboratory. Each week, you'll learn tips and techniques from real-world dentists, bringing you in-depth interviews, motivating stories, current events, and sports. Here's your host, Sean Keating.
Hey everyone, Sean here. Welcome to another episode of the Dental Up Podcast. Our guest this week majored in chemistry and psychology from Syracuse University, and he later graduated from SUNY Buffalo Dental School in 1989. Currently practicing from Montrose, New York. Please welcome Dr. Sonny Spera, DDS. How's it going, Dr. Spera?
Oh, Sean, how you doing? Introduction like that gets me pretty psyched up, you know?
That's awesome, dude. Hey, man, thank you so much for your time. I know how busy you are, and, dude, I can't thank you enough for coming on board. But, hey, I always like to start off talking a little bit about sports, man. Now, you're a New York guy. Your Mets and Yankees aren't doing – the Yankees are doing pretty good, but are you a baseball guy, football, baseball, badminton? What you like in sports?
My personal thing is I'm a basketball guy because I played in college, so basketball is my love. But baseball is a big interest too. I actually got drafted by the Brewers in college, so I have an interest in baseball, and I am truly a Mets fan. So I've had some misery for a number of years. Even though we won a couple in a row now, but I don't want to say that too loud because that's a kiss of death.
Oh, I know. No, I hear you. Yeah, you guys are like 23 and 25. You're 12 and 8 at home with the Mets, but hey, you never know. It's still early. And with baseball, what position were you? What position did you play?
I was a pitcher.
Oh, good for you, man. That's awesome. What was one of your best pitches? Do you have a knuckleball? Was it a slider, curveball, fastball? What was your go-to pitch?
My go-to pitch probably was my fastball, and I threw it. You know, back then there was no such thing as two seams and four seams. You either had a fastball or you had a curveball.
Okay.
Some guys had sliders. I couldn't do that. My arm just didn't have it. But
exactly
where my point of delivery came from, I had a pretty good movement on my fastball. Kind of tailed as a righty. It tailed in hard on the right-handed hitter. So
yeah,
that was my pitch. That was my go-to.
Where'd you finally get it up to? Mid-80s or so? Did you ever get in the low 90s, or what were you throwing? What kind of heat?
I know it's funny because that was such a secret thing. Like if a scout came to see you,
yep,
they held that friggin' radar gun right next to their chest, and they look at it, and they didn't show anybody around them. And I think I got in the upper 80s. I'll be honest with you.
Well, that's huge, Joe. That's awesome.
So they saw potential in me because it was a club sport at Syracuse. It wasn't a year-round sport. It wasn't even a spring sport. So they were like, yeah, we could work with this kid. So
that's awesome.
That's what Milwaukee saw in me, the crazy people out there.
Hey, Milwaukee's in the NBA, trying to get to the NBA Finals, man. They got a big game tonight against Toronto. Game 5. It's tied at 2 each. And what do you think about the basketball? Freaking Golden State again, man. It's like 5 years in a row, and they're going for 3 in a row on the three-peats. Kind of reminds me of the old Lakers.
Yeah.
Riley.
It's hard to – I love, if you like basketball at its highest level is the pros, but it's hard. The competitive balance is so out of whack.
Yeah.
That, Golden State is a foregone conclusion, but Milwaukee, they got a nice squad. They got a nice deep team. Yeah. The only thing is, their superstar just doesn't have a jump shot. Just if he had a 15-footer, he would be lethal. Right now, he's a Greek freak, but if he could hit a jumper, boy, he'd be unstoppable.
I think like game 3, he hit like 2 of 7 field goals on free throws, and he did an air ball again the last game. It's 2 games in a row he shot air balls, but he is the Greek freak. And but you got like Barkley popping off with the top 5 best players in the league now, and he didn't even have Steph Curry in it, so he's kind of getting a lot of flack for that right now. But he had Giannis or whatever his name is in the top 5, but I think he still has a little bit of his game. He's never been in this high of a, under this much pressure being in the playoffs this deep, but he's really good close to the rim and all that. But yeah, he does need that shot, 15 feet or wherever. But I don't know. I think he's a great player, but I think Steph's a little better because I think they had like Harden, LeBron, KD, Then they had Giannis. Oh, and then one other guy, but they didn't have Steph, and he's Barkley's getting a lot of flack, but Barkley flaps his chops a lot, anyways. That's kind of funny.
Yeah, that guy's not afraid to give his opinion, which makes him unique because he'll say it whether you like it or don't like it. You're going to hear it.
Exactly.
And
him and that Steve Smith dude, they're kind of making some noise lately, but I don't know. I'm excited because it's a Thursday night. I got to go to the pizza parlor, man, have a pitcher of beer, want some basketball, baby. So I'm not even big fans of those teams, but hey, what the heck, man?
I'll be glued.
Yeah, it'll be fun.
I'll be glued to the set. Sure.
All right, well, hey, let's go ahead and dental up. So tell me, doctor, why did you get into dentistry, and at what point did you think, I want to be a dentist?
Well, I was young. I was real young, in fact. I was like, yeah, I think I want to be a pediatrician. Because I love kids. I enjoyed playing with kids and, my neighborhood and the younger kids. I kind of, in church, I would always kind of pay attention to what they were doing. And I still am fascinated by how kids act and interact and, almost jealous. They're just carefree. So I kind of had that. So I said that to my dad, and my dad said, well, why don't you be a dentist? And I was like, what? He was like, well, it's a better lifestyle. And I was probably 12, 13. And I was like, well, and he did make sense in something. He said, you're pretty good with your hands. I had taken guitar lessons, piano lessons, kind of picked them up pretty quick. Okay. So I was like, yeah, you know what? All right, I'm going to be a dentist.
No kidding.
And that was my plan. And that's it. And then everybody I talked to discouraged me.
No kidding.
That was the one thing that was really strange. All along in my life, everybody discouraged. Like everybody, including my coaches, my high school guidance counselor, right through college, my college pre-professional advisor. I think personally it probably motivated me more.
Oh, absolutely. Well, that's awesome. That's pretty young, man. 12, 13 years old. That's awesome. What about your pops who suggested it? What kind of work did he do?
He worked for IBM. He was a technician kind of guy. Okay. Troubleshooting was probably his specialty, and he graduated high school. He took some college training in junior college, and then some Air Force training. But he, by no means didn't have really a college degree. And my mom had a GED, get a high school equivalency diploma. So
yeah, hey, I'm with your mom, man.
Yeah, it was a big step for our family,
What about with you? When you got out of college, did you go as an associate or did you start practice? Tell me how it started out after college.
Oh, after dental school?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So graduated in 89, like you said, and then I joined a group, two young dentists that were graduates of 1983 from my dental school.
Oh, okay.
And and I had interviewed with a bunch of places like in Syracuse area, and then a bunch of places in Binghamton, upstate New York, and it just seemed like they were a little bit younger, and I liked what they had going on, and I thought, okay, well, a 2-doctor practice as opposed to a 1-doctor practice, I think I could get busier sooner. So, yeah, I went as an associate, and I worked there for 2 years before I went on my own.
So when you went on your own, how was that starting off? Kind of tough?
I was buying a practice that was in a very small rural town, and it was probably 10 miles from the practice I had. I was practicing in the Binghamton city limit area. Okay. And now I was moving to Conklin, which was a very small rural town, very close to the PA border. Okay. In fact, it's the last exit on Route 81. So I had wanted to do it with these guys. I said, hey, why don't we do this? This could be a satellite office, blah, blah, blah. And then because the dentist out there had an eye injury, you covered other guys' practices in the event they ever had an injury or something. Yeah. So we were in there, and I was like, yeah, this is a fairly busy practice. You got 2 hygienists. It was in the basement of a raised ranch house. Yeah. So that was a little unique, So that was a lot different than where I was. But I thought, there's something here, and so I took the leap and I did it. And then, and the whole time it was a learning process too. Like, I at least had an idea in my mind. This is how I want to practice, So from the guys and the format and the way that we practice, I was like, I had an idea. I didn't go in and say, well, let's try this, let's try that. I kind of knew how I thought I wanted my practice to look like and what I wanted it to look like. So it took some time because, there's a patient base for, almost 20 years. They were used to a certain way, a certain speed, a certain philosophy, and I was going to do it a little bit differently, as easy as I could transition it,
No kidding.
So that was my plan, and that's what happened.
Well, that's awesome. So what about on the practice? What kind of layout do you have? Tell me a little bit about your practice, what kind of layout and your employees, if you could.
Well, now we've grown that one little practice to we're 5 offices, 5 locations, and we're 6 doctors in total.
Okay.
So the layout, each office is laid out a little differently, but a lot of similarities because we've actually built facilities.
Okay.
So we built a new office, and then we built, so we built 3 offices from scratch. We renovated one, and then we have another one that's kind of set the way it is that we just bought. And then the last one, we're in the process of buying now to the building. And then we're going to modify it a little bit, but it's got some limitations on it.
Tell me how that works now. So you got like 5 different practices, but there's 5 dentists. Are you guys like you just started a business together? How's that work out? Tell me what kind of thing you got going on there.
Oh man, how long is the podcast?
We got a half an hour only, but no, that's just a trip. I mean,
okay, brother.
No, tell me a little bit about it.
I'll try to give you a Reader's Digest version, but
okay.
That practice that I started out on my own, we grew that practice. We put it in a new building. Then about a year or 2 later, we bought another practice in another location. And then 2 years later, we put that in a new building. So we had 2 offices.
Okay.
And I was happy and I was set. I thought that was going to work out just fine. They were on kind of bookends of Binghamton. So one was rural southeast of Binghamton. The other one was west of Binghamton, about 7 miles. So it covered a pretty wide swath if you kind of drew the radiuses around there, right?
Absolutely. Yeah.
Then, a friend of mine up in Norwich, which is about an hour away, so completely different community. And when we went into that practice, I went in and I told one of my docs, and he came in as a partner.
Okay.
So now we formed another practice. He's a partner with me there. And then we've added 2 partners up there, and then I have 1 partner in the Montrose office. The Binghamton office, I have 3 partners. So there's 4 of us that are partners.
Yeah. That's awesome, dude. Little entrepreneur. I got a lot of guys that it's hard for them to bite the bullet and get the second practice. I mean, what kind of advice would you give some of our doctors out there that are looking to buy a second practice, seeing that you have several? What kind of advice could you give us for some of the guys just trying to get the second one?
My advice, you're buying that second practice, is you really got to think it through.
Okay.
And then you have to have a lot of contingencies in your head. And then you got to know what you want to do. Do you want to incorporate it into one, make it one office, or do you want to have it 2 separate offices, like 2 separate softwares, 2 separate, business entities? Or are you going to have it all one? Are you going to be, one's, involved in insurance, the other one's fee for service? How do you want to grow that pie? Because you're going to add to your exposure in terms of your overhead, your fixed costs, everything.
Yep.
And then secondly is how are you going to cover it? Like, are you going to go, like, if you're going to buy a second practice and just put a doctor in there who's just like an associate, has no interest in owning it, it's not going to be the same.
Okay.
And it's not going to run the same. And if you want it to be the same, you've got to put yourself in there. You've got to me anyway. Yeah. I think you got to be part of that fabric. And then if you're big in your community, then you got to become part of that community if it's a different community.
Absolutely.
You got to make sure that, your entity, like for us, we're Progressive Dental.
Okay.
So we want Progressive Dental to be a fabric of our communities that we live in, we serve, we work, etc. And that takes a lot of effort and a lot of time.
Oh, absolutely.
And you got to have a staff, and everybody's got to buy in. But that would be my thought. And then if that's your concept, great. If you're just looking, hey, I'm going to buy this as an investment, or I'm going to set another doctor up. And I think the geography dictates differently. I think if you're more city, more urban, I think maybe those things can work. But where we are, where it's a little more diverse, spread out,
okay,
I don't think that works so well, because I think you lose that ownership, you lose that relationship connection. I really don't want a doc coming in to work for me that's a hit it and quit it kind of guy or gal who really is just put the patient in chair, let me do the work, run them out the door. I don't even care what their name is. Just tell me the procedure, sit them down, give me my syringe, get out my way.
Yep.
I don't want that. That's going to burn out quick because that's not who we are. That's not our culture. So
okay.
I think that determines everything that you do. So anytime that we've added anything and done anything, it's been a group decision with all the docs. What do you think? Where does this work? How does this affect you? How about your personal life? How about your professional life? Can you swing this? Are you robbing from Peter to pay Paul? Like, are you taking time away from your core? And then, we all have, personal lives. I mean, how much do you want to work? How much family sacrifice or personal, professional sacrifice do you want to do? You got to have people in, you got to have people that are committed,
Absolutely. And it's almost like a marriage. I mean, it's hard enough to have one practice with a partner, or two partners. I mean, to work that whole synergy out, and it's tough, but to have several offices, as long as you're all on the same page and as long as they all got skin in the game too, like you're saying with the ownership, I think it's a pretty neat thing. It's kind of like if you can replicate that out of one good practice and make it into a second, a third, a fourth, it does work. I have quite a few different dentists that have multiple practices, and it's kind of neat when they're all on the same page and they're all working together. Now, with your different practices and the different demographics, are you all doing kind of the same kind of dentistry? Is it a cosmetic? Is one more removable? Is one more, like say that's more insurance driven, doing certain procedures in that one compared to the fee-for-service ones? Tell me a little bit about the difference on procedures per different area.
Okay, well, that's a good question because each office has its own vibe. Each office has its own community. Like one is probably, I would say, lower white collar, upper blue collar. Okay. One I would say is probably blue collar, flannel collar, and one is probably kind of overalls and jeans. And one is probably a real eclectic mix.
Okay.
So they all have a little different vibe. Now, we treat them all exactly the same in that we offer the same exact services.
Okay.
But yeah, probably the mix of what we do, like we may do a little more removable in one office and maybe a little more fixed in the other office.
Okay.
And we have a lab, and we have 2 certified dental technicians on site, and we have a third lab helper that's trained in most everything. So we have the ability to send someone from one office to another office. You got a denture needs a reline, do it while you wait. You got a tooth off a denture, we'll fix it. Give me an hour, we'll take care of it. We do use the other offices that way. The biggest challenge that we have is getting everybody, all our docs, kind of on that same page. So when we get together, just the doctors, that's some of the most important things we talk about are, how do we treatment plan this? What do you see here? And just making sure that we have a good feel for it, because I might not be the doc that they see that day in that office, but you want to be able to pick it up and have a continuity of care that has no compromise,
Absolutely. No, it's so important. And, I see it too with driving patients to the practices, be involved in the communities that you're in. And there's so many different things to do, but what are you guys doing to drive, marketing and to drive patients to your practice with your marketing strategy? Are you doing social media? Are you doing mailer, working with the public sector? Tell me a little bit about that, how you drive patients to your practices.
Well, I think the biggest thing that we do for our practice, we're probably 80% internal referral.
Okay, good.
So, like refers like. So our biggest thing is really making sure that we take care of the patients that we have as best as we can, kind of leave no stone unturned to, get their satisfaction and get their approval or their relationship solid with us, so that they're happy and they want to refer people to us. We did just start a referral program with that. Like we got this Dr. Steve Rasner, and it's, send someone you love to someone you trust.
There you go.
And
I like that.
So we do that, and then we have a little reward for those people that do that. So that kind of helps our internal program a little bit.
Yep.
As far as the external stuff, we like to have a presence in our communities. So, participating in, fundraisers and, runs, and, there was a Binghamton Bridge run that just came up recently. And, out in the schools, February, Children's Dental Health Month, we visited almost think it was 3,000, 4,000 kids, across the communities in those areas. So we're out like every day of the week in all the different schools and presenting, and kind of have a nice little presentation that we do there. We want people to see us and know who we are. So that, our website, I think, is pretty decent. We're going to, jazz it a little bit, but I think our website speaks pretty well for us.
Beautiful.
But social media, I think for us, we want to be out there. We want people to engage, and we do get a really good engagement with our patients. A lot of interaction back and forth, and for us, our tagline, it's personal. So anything we do, we want it to be personal.
Beautiful.
So like if we're going to do something, we want progressive dental people there. We want to connect personally. So like, the YMCA up in Norwich, they have all kinds of programs. Well, we're going to try to get involved with a couple of them where we really put our heart and souls into it. Like there's a basketball camp run by the Thompsons, Daphne and her husband from Oneonta. So we get involved with that at a very high level. And then there's the daycare program. There's a lot of little things that we try to do. And now that what we just put this year, and I told the staff and the team was, why don't you guys decide, and we put a budget for them and said, why don't you find some things that you are absolutely near and dear to your heart committed to, and we'll put money up for those things in your name or in our name, so that part of your workplace experience also has that goodwill component or that outreach component, to whatever it is. Let's say you're a dog lover and you SPCA and dog. Okay, well, let's make sure we incorporate some of that budget to go towards Shenango County SPCA Society, or
I love that. That's
something,
great.
The dog park. So now it's really getting them involved in the grassroots part of it, because you get millions of requests. My daughter's selling cookie dough for the school baseball team and the PTA, and we do support the schools heavily, our community schools, but we do want our team to really personalize it. Like what is it? What is it that you feel is a really deep connection to whatever is out there? Let's make sure we put that connection together.
Tell me a little bit about your involvement. You have this 20th annual Doctors with a Heart Day 2019.
Oh, yeah.
What's that about? Tell me a little bit about that if you could.
Oh, that's phenomenal. I think this is year 22, I think. But
okay.
It was something that Dwayne Schmidt in Gentle Dental in Cedar Rapids, Iowa, was a very big contributor to dental economics. He wrote some books and articles. And about, 5 years ago, I got friendly with him, and at that time email just started, so it was mostly phone conversation, some email, and I got to visit his office. And one of the things that he was doing was this free day of dental care called Doctors with a Heart Day. And he just said, you close your cash drawers and you do whatever you can complete in one visit for anybody who can't afford it. And you just open your doors and you open your hearts, and it is by far one of the best days of the year to practice.
Unbelievable.
The patient's so appreciative and so thankful. Some of them, they just wanted to see somebody and talk. Maybe they don't do any work, but they had a couple of things they weren't sure, and they wanted to talk to a dentist.
Oh, man.
Or they want an x-ray. Or, when I got this tooth that's all funky looking and broken and chipped, and I have a job interview next week, and, and they leave with a composite, and you shaped it, and it looks pretty nice, and they're feeling, 10 feet tall. And you have a part of that.
Oh, it's huge.
Or, you and your team. Yeah, it's really the team and everybody that's involved. I mean, you walk out of there, 20 feet tall.
Oh, that's so
amazing.
I love hearing that. Now, we do a lot of those different programs with dentists across the U.S. on different things helping the patients, the people out there, and it's just such a neat thing where for you to be able to do a direct chairside, like you said, a composite that because you can only do so much with it. In the same day, so probably a lot of extractions, this and that, cleanings and stuff like that. But to be able to do some direct chairside, I've seen some composites, man, are pretty neat. How you can close up spaces or cracks and chips and it's a pretty neat thing to be able to leave that chair that quick and to have a big difference like that. So that's huge, man. I really love that. So yeah, you really got it going, baby. I love this. You're a mover and a shaker. I remember I had this couple doctor. I had a couple doctor, Gentle Dental, up in they were up in New York. They had a bunch of different practices. I still remember that doctor, Lean Dirt Vanderite, man. I think he's still practicing, but yeah, it's a neat thing, man. What you got going? I really love that. So tell me a little bit about where you do your CE. Tell me about some of the conventions you go to or don't go to. Anyone in particular like CE wise? Tell me a little bit about that if you could.
I like to do as much as I can. I enjoy it, and now that my son graduated dental school, so he joined the practice. So
yeah, congratulations, man. That's awesome.
Thank you. That's been phenomenal. So that's helped us with our practice base and the way our schedules worked out. So I've been able to take a little more time away and get to different conferences and stuff. The Greater New York meeting I was not able to go to for a number of years because I coached high school basketball for a long time.
Okay.
That's a major conflict, Thanksgiving time. So
oh yeah, definitely.
We have our 6th district hosts and brings in speakers twice a year, usually pretty good ones. But I've gone to Dentaltown for 2 years. Phenomenal. Good. Loved it.
Beautiful.
Plan on going again. Every now and then I'll go to the ADA conference. I went to the Yankee Dental this year. That was a great event.
I love the Yankee. A little cold, but man, that's fun. I love the food there, man. All the shellfish.
Oh God, you like seafood, man? It's awesome.
Oh, I sure do.
That was only my first time at the Yankee though, so I'm planning on going back next year. Let's see. I've been at Gordon Christensen, a couple of classes, out of his place in Utah.
Okay.
Beautiful country, and he's the grandfather of dentistry. So
yes, he is.
You get a chance to take something from him, you got to go.
Oh, absolutely, great. Man.
Benco, our dental supply company, they sponsor different events and speakers, and I try to get to that too. So, this year I'll probably end up taking probably about 100, 150 hours of CE.
Oh, beautiful.
Most years I'm probably like 30.
Okay.
Something like that.
What about with all your practices and stuff? Anyone in particular that really, you took from a practice management standpoint? I mean, anyone or is it just pretty much how you made things happen? Or tell me a little bit about that if you could.
Practice management, I owe a lot to Howard Ferran.
Ah, beautiful.
No mistake about it. He a game changer. Still is. I read his books. I used to, the Ferran Report, and I read a couple of, Business of Dentistry and he just was talking a language and a perspective that nobody in dentistry was talking about. Nobody was talking about it. Everybody was talking about, treat the top 10%, make your practice, do the top 10%, blah, 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 and really exclusive and veneers and full, okay, great. Well, that's, one case every few months. Like that's not how you're going to make a living, and just the way that you could really just look at it from a different perspective. So we went out and visited his practice. This was like in the 90s. My partner at the time, we flew out there. We were using a dental lab that was right down the street from him, Don Van Hunt.
Okay.
So I was like, well, we'll go see Don, and let's go see if this is for real. If he walks the walk and just talks the talk or what. And I'll never forget it. We went in there and we talked to him for a while and he was like, are you guys doing ortho? We're like, no. He goes, yeah, I do ortho. Ortho's simple, blah, blah, blah. He goes, let me explain it. You got 10 minutes, I'll teach you ortho, blah, 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 blah. Next thing you know, he's writing on things. So I'm like, okay. And he's like, endo, you guys doing endo? Yeah, you're doing endo. Great. What kind of endo? Yo, you're not doing rotary nighttime? Got to do rotary nighttime. I'll tell you what. Kit weathers, blah, blah, blah. So next thing you know, on our flight home, my partner and I, we literally sat down with just a blank legal pad, and we were like, okay, what are we going to do? And we're like, okay, endo, got to take this course, got to get the rotary, got to get the equipment, we're investing in it, we're going. And there's always like, implants or, do this,
he's a stud,
got
man.
it on the ball,
Yeah, he does.
So I owe a lot to him. I think he's changed, the kind of course of my practice quite a bit. My dad had a pretty good influence on when we started to structure some of this. Like if you're going to grow, you got to have some business structure in place where,
absolutely.
Okay, what's your management look like? And most of us, nobody likes red tape and bureaucracy, but if you're going to grow and grow wider, you've got to have people, you got to be able to have small groups so people want to talk, they're able to talk, making sure that everybody has the right track. So, okay, first talk to this person. And, of course, anytime they want to talk to me or the other owners, no problem.
Perfect.
But we do want to give them a feeling that it's still a one-on-one communication chain. But he helped kind of design that.
What can you tell some of the newer dentists starting off, some of the things they should do, maybe not do? What some advice can you give some of our newer people starting off?
Well, I think the biggest thing that and this, I don't want to sound vague or like really like cute. I think they have to know who they are and what they want. And it sounds simple, but I think there's a lot more to that. I think you really got to understand like personality type, like we do a lot of that with our office. We use the DISC system, DISC.
Okay.
And every personality is different. Every personality communicates or wants to be communicated differently. I think that's a big thing. But then also like, what floats your boat, man? What jazzes your music, like what really turns you on? And if it's endo, man, go do as much endo as you can. Get good at it.
Exactly.
Make sure you have good mentors and teachers. That's the most important thing that young people need, I think, is to make sure that you've got good, training or good and consistency or mentors. People that like for me, Dwayne Schmidt, Howard Ferrant, people that I knew and grew up with in this profession that have spoken to me and have been there and I've learned from and continue to learn from. But I think as a young doc, if you're just kind of getting into it, find what your passion is and then get really, really good at it.
Absolutely. No, great advice, dude, for sure. And, Howard Ferrant, man, he helped me too with my lab. I mean, back in 2003, I started 2002, but he just really kind of helped me. And, he put the word out with my lab with a lot of the townies. And now, so I love Howard myself, like you. And he's great for the world of dentistry, man. His thing is you'll never practice alone, and it's so true. Yeah. I mean, you could go ask any kind of questions, and even the lowly dental techs could get on that forum and talk with dentists, and kind of a neat thing, man. Yeah. I'm so thankful and very blessed meeting him and having him part of my life. But I just see this real quick and some of your volunteer and all the different things you do, but you're part of the Sons of Italy, so I take it you're Italian, huh?
Yeah, I'm Italian. Yeah.
My next question is,
Sons of Italy.
Do you got a Ferrari now? I mean, in Italy.
No.
Come on, man.
No.
Yeah, from Italy,
sorry,
dude.
Man. American made only. That's what I drive. That's my rule.
Come on. I have my Ford also, but I'm Irish, but I still love those Ferraris, baby. I got 3 of them.
They're nice.
No.
Oh, God bless.
No, that's awesome.
The other thing about Howard, though, you think about it, like what he's done, right? Granted, okay, I paid a little bit for this or that, but a lot of things he's just done because it's been helpful to me. It's been helpful to other dentists. And that's what a lot of dentists, I mean, we've got dentists, I think, are such a compassionate people.
Mm-hmm.
And I think the more that you share and the more that you give, the more that you get.
Absolutely.
And I truly believe that. And that's kind of what should be our mission.
Oh, absolutely. No, it's better to give than receive. And it just comes back to the more you give, the more you get back. And it's just, I love that, man.
Yep.
And I love how you majored in chemistry and psychology. I mean, you're very well-rounded, and I could tell, because 90% of this is psychological. You're a coach. You just have to have so many, things to be a good dentist going for you. And I just think you got a good grasp of it, and I think you got a really good business mind. And, it's just you keep knocking it out of the park like you are, Dr. Spera, and I can't thank you enough for coming on this podcast. I know you got to get back to your patients, and but man, thank you so much. And if there's anything I could ever do, let me know. But again, thanks for your time and great story. And again, anything I could do, let me know, man. Good talking to you.
Thanks, brother. The last thing I will leave with you, and I've heard this from a lot of other dentists.
Okay.
The dentistry is the easy part. It's the relationship.
Absolutely.
That's the challenge. Whether it's with your staff or your patients, Relationship is everything.
Absolutely. That's so on the money there, Dr. Spera. And hey, God bless you and your family. And thanks again. We'll talk to you real soon.
Thanks, Sean. Appreciate it, brother.
All right, man. Bye-bye.
Thanks for joining us on the Dental Up Podcast Show this week. Make sure to follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter, or search the Dental Up Podcast on iTunes for our weekly feed. Don't forget to visit KeatingDentalArts.com/promo for exclusive offers. Keating Dental Arts is a full-service dental laboratory, and we're nationwide. We'd love for you to send us a case so we can show you the Keating difference. If you dig what you heard, please leave a review on iTunes, and we'll be back next week.